Good afternoon and welcome to Nederman's virtual booth at IWF Connect. My name is Eric Kelland. I am the Solution Sales Manager for Nederman, and I will be joined by Dan Rousseau, who is one of our technical directors. What we will be doing is giving you a brief overview of the S-Series, and then Dan will take over and go through specifics of the S-Series, including the Nfpa compliance, and then we will finish with a Q&A session.
The Nederman S-Series is a safe, compact, and cost-effective dust collector for the wood industry. Nederman can configure the quiet and efficient S-Series to meet the Nfpa 664 and the Nfpa 654 definition of enclosureless dust collector. Its small footprint belies its power, generating up to 5,000 CFM from a 5, 7.5, or 10 horsepower motor. The S-Series works well with a variety of machines, including CNC, edge banders, panel saws, routers, and other woodworking machinery. Quick and easy to assemble and connect, you can be up and running in an hour with only the use of basic tools. Typical applications are machines in small and medium wood and craft workshops. The S-Series from Nederman, compact, quiet, and cost-effective. Visit us at nederman.com/S-Series for more information.
The S-Series comes in three standard sizes, what we call the S500, the S750, and S1000. You can see the airflows for those, 3,000, 4,500, 5,000 CFM rated. And 5,000 CFM is the largest indoor rating. S500, about 3,000 CFM max capacity. The great thing about all of the S-Series is they're very easy to install, very quiet operation due to low RPM fans, under 70 decibels when we test it in the normal ASHRAE test standards. There are two bags that come underneath the unit as standard. Or moving along to the S750, and about the only thing difference between the 750 and the 500 is it has an additional 8 bags. Basically, we add one more waste discharge point underneath it, one more part on the hopper. That adds the bags and kind of stretches the unit. And then the fan itself goes from a 5 horse to a 7.5 horse. The S1000, the big difference here is now we took the 750 and we went vertical with the bag, making them taller, bringing us up to about 360 square feet, 5,000 CFM max capacity, as we mentioned earlier. The inlet size is 400 millimeter, which is a 16-inch duct. Keep this image in mind. You notice the collector itself is roughly about 20 feet away from the operator. Other things consider is need to do something on the electrical side. Order the unit with a motor starter. Maybe you want to do a machine tool interlock, so every time you turn the machine on, the dust collector turns on. Other than the standard bags that you have under the unit, you can get the metal barrels to replace the bags, a little more durable. You just take them just like a garbage can, dump them into a larger dumpster. Or one of the things that's very popular is the dump bin. We actually do have a lot more filter area than a lot of the other enclosureless units on the market. You can see one just on the lower right-hand side. What we provide is going to be a lot more filter area, which is going to be better efficiency, better for a pressure drop, longer operating time before shutting down and having to clean the filters. We already mentioned about the low RPM fan. Many of the competitors, they do run very high RPM, and the faster you spin a fan wheel, the more noise you get. Well, that's one of the reasons why our fans do tend to be fairly large compared to everybody else. Larger diameter, slower RPM, gives us the same airflow, but a lot lower noise. The enclosureless does meet Nfpa enclosureless dust collector standards. And as I mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, the 230-gallon dump bin, it's designed to go under the S750 and the S1000. It does have a tremendously larger capacity than using barrels or bags, 70% more capacity. And it's as simple as when it's time to empty it, roll it out, have a fork truck driver come by, pick it up. You pull the release, raise it up, and then over here on the right, you can see you just dump the dust right into the larger dumpster. This is a much simpler, cleaner, easier process. And Eric, maybe you can chime in on this, but I'm assuming we see a lot of customers who, if they don't order this initially, they upgrade.
We do, Dan. So once somebody gets tired of dumping plastic bags or having to kind of shut down production to take the bags off, tie them up, and carry them over to the dumpster, once they kind of get taste of being able to do it quickly with the dump bin, they don't tend to go back. We also see a lot of customers that purchase more than one dump bin So if it's a high production shop, they can simply pull the dump bin out once it gets full, put it to the side, put a new one in there, and start production up again. And then at a break time or the end of the day or some slow period, they can go dump both dumpsters.
The filter bags that we use are unique in the market. They're actually called a super bag. That's a Nederman trademark name. It's an anti-static woven material. Unlike a lot of the materials that are felt, this is a woven fabric. It's continuously sewn. And the way it's sewn, it gives it some kind of a stretch. But because of that stretch, that adds to its cleanability by stretching, and we'll show some more details on that shortly. But you can also see there is a continuously sewn carbon fiber. It's continuous all the way through the bag. It connects to the tube sheet of the S series to make sure that you have a grounded fabric. By grounding the dust collector, risk of a spark being generated is reduced almost to nothing. This is the same kind of bag filter and the same bag material that we use on the larger systems. We do have more filter area by using more smaller bag diameters. That gives us about 3 times more than many competitors. And just based on the material, based on how it's sewn, based on the weave, for almost every wood dust application I've seen, and especially those that are going to be compliant for using a S series, you're going to have 99.9% efficiency over the life of the bag on those applications. I did mention air to cloth ratio at 15 to 1. Many competitors are 30 to 1, 45 to 1. Other bag technologies, you're typically 8 to 1 at most. Running slower as we do, you do get longer filter life. Bag expectancy is 3 to 5 years. With regards to kind of how the collector is working, so basically your air is coming in through the ducting. Coming down right here, number 2 is your fan, blowing into the dirty air plenum, where heavy dust is going to drop out into the plastic bags or bins or dump bin below. Dust and then the dirty air, you might call it, is going to come up inside the bag. Your air is coming up, dust is getting onto the bag material, and then the air is coming out clean out through the outside of the bag. The bag itself, as I mentioned, does have a slight stretchiness to it. So when the unit is on, those bags do stretch outward a little bit. But when we turn the unit off, the bags themselves do collapse a little bit because you're no longer pushing air through it. And it's when that stretch releases, that's where a lot of your dust is going to fall down. You can also take a broomstick, bat the bags a little bit, get the rest of the dust into the bins and barrels, and then dispose of it. And NFPA 664 is specifically written around the wood industry and woodworking. If you meet these following general guidelines, 5,000 CFM is the maximum airflow NFPA allows for enclosureless. The media must be under a positive pressure, which means the fan has to be before the collector, so you're blowing the dust through the fan. You also need to be able to see the filters, meaning it's enclosureless. The dust blows, comes in from the ducting, goes through the fan, and then blows to the inside of the filter. Clean air comes out through the filter itself. While ever the fan is running, there cannot be an automatic cleaning system. So no pulse valves, no shaker, no nothing while the fan is on. There is no continuously or mechanically allowed dust removal device, such as an airlock. And the dust must be removed daily or more frequently if obviously you're filling the dust in the bins and everything else. It is for wood processing machinery only. They do say specifically no sanders, molders, or abrasive planers having mechanical material feeds through the machinery. If there's someone that's right there in front of it, he has to handle the material into it. It's probably going to be okay. Again, the maximum of 5,000 CFM comes up here again. Must be a totally enclosed fan-cooled motor. No open motors. The dust must be removed daily. The collectors themselves must be 20 feet away from an egress or other area routinely occupied. And also, if you do have multiple machines in the same room, they do need to be spread out by about 20 feet or more. 654 is actually very similar. Chapter 3 and Chapter 9, as referenced here, are the 2 areas of importance when it comes to enclosureless dust collectors. And 654 is specifically other combustible dust.
Thanks, Dan. And in conclusion, when you're dealing with enclosureless dust collectors, remember, our S series is simple, silent, and safe. Now we're going to open it up to a couple questions.